Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. This time, we're tackling something a little different.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to help you prep for an interview for an import-export manager, specifically in the hide, skins, and leather products industry. And we're really lucky to have
Yeah,
RoleCatcher's incredible resources to help us out here. So
absolutely.
not only do they have in-depth career guides,
Uh-huh.
they also have these awesome interview guides.
Yeah.
One thing that really stood out to me, and I'm sure it did to you too, is RoleCatcher's AI.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's one of the coolest things. They can analyze specific job descriptions to help tailor applications
Yeah.
and provide feedback on interview responses.
It's like having a personal coach in your corner.
Exactly like a secret weapon for anyone who's serious about landing a role like this.
Okay, so let's set the stage first.
Yeah.
What exactly does an import-export manager do?
Well, think of them as like the conductor of a global orchestra.
Okay.
They make sure everything runs smoothly from sourcing and documentation to shipping customs clearance.
Wow. Delivery, the whole 9 yards.
That's a lot.
It is. It's a vital link between a company and its foreign partners.
I was looking through RoleCatcher's career guide,
Mm-hmm.
and it really hit me just how much variety there is in this role.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about like moving boxes from A to B.
No, not at all.
It's about orchestrating
Exactly.
and regulating that entire international trade process.
Got to have a deep understanding of global trends. You got to be able to navigate complex regulations, build strong relationships. I mean, it's a dynamic field for sure.
Well, let's jump right into those interview questions. Then, shall we?
Let's do it.
I'm going to start with a pretty common one. What experience do you have in the import-export industry?
Ah, the classic.
Right. But what if you don't have direct experience in this specific industry?
That's okay. You can still highlight your transferable skills.
Okay.
Think about any time you had to negotiate, manage complex projects, or even handle logistics.
Right.
It doesn't even have to be in a professional setting.
So like even planning a big event? Exact. Or maybe you coordinated a team project in school or volunteered for an international organization.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. It's about connecting the dots for the interviewer.
Yeah, show them how your past experiences, even if they seem unrelated, have equipped you with valuable skills.
So, for example, maybe you organized a fundraiser and had to source materials from overseas.
Perfect example.
You can talk about your experience with international communication, logistics, even some basic customs procedures.
And don't forget to show your passion for the field.
Right?
Mention that you've been reading up on the industry's complexities, maybe even reference some insights from RoleCatcher's career guide.
Okay, great advice. So next question. Can you describe the process of importing and exporting hide, skins, and leather products?
All right, this one's a bit more specific. You'll want to show you understand the entire supply chain.
Okay.
From sourcing to documentation, shipping customs, clearance delivery, the whole shebang.
Don't overwhelm them with too much detail though, right?
Right. Structure your answer strategically.
So maybe start by outlining the major steps in a clear, concise way.
Exactly. And then you can dive into a couple of specific examples that highlight your expertise.
Okay, so for instance, you could talk about your experience with a specific type of leather or a region known for its leather production.
And again, RoleCatcher's resources can be a lifesaver here.
Yeah.
They provide insights into specific regions, types of leather, even the regulatory landscape.
Right. It's not just about reciting information from the guide, though.
No.
It's about showing the interviewer that you can apply that knowledge to
Absolutely.
real-world scenarios.
You got it.
Maybe mention how you'd ensure compliance with CETS regulations.
Great example.
Yeah.
Those are crucial for protecting endangered species.
Right. And that shows you're aware of the ethical considerations
Exactly.
involved in the leather trade.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI feedback can be incredibly useful.
Oh, yeah. How so?
You can practice answering this question and put it into the platform and get specific feedback tailored to this job description.
So it might suggest areas where you can strengthen your answer.
Yeah, or provide more context.
Okay, that's awesome. Let's move on to a question that can be a little daunting. How do you manage the logistics
Oh, yeah.
of importing and exporting large quantities of product?
This one's all about showcasing your organizational skills,
Ah,
your strategic thinking, and your comfort with technology.
right, because it can get really complex when you're dealing with such large-scale operations.
Exactly.
So it's not just about knowing the steps, but about optimizing the entire process.
That's it. You want to talk about things like route planning, carrier selection,
Wow.
warehouse management, inventory, control the whole shebang.
Have you used any specific software or tools for these tasks?
Oh, absolutely. There are tons of great tools out there.
In fact, RoleCatcher's Functions and Core Abilities section mentions software for real-time shipment tracking.
Oh, yeah.
It's communication with all the different parties involved.
Keeps everyone on the same page.
So mentioning those kinds of tools shows you understand how technology streamlines the whole process.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to get into the nitty-gritty here. The interviewer wants to see that you can handle those complexities. Maybe even mention how you'd mitigate potential risks like shipping delays or disruptions in the supply chain.
Good point. Now, for a question that gets to the heart of international trade, how do you negotiate with suppliers
Yes.
and customers to ensure fair pricing and terms?
It's a delicate dance, isn't it?
It is. It feels like you need to find that sweet spot between advocating for your company and maintaining those strong relationships.
Exactly. It's not about playing hardball or trying to squeeze every last penny.
No.
It's about collaboration, understanding different perspectives, and finding solutions that benefit everyone involved.
More about building trust then. Right?
Absolutely. Highlight your ability to listen, actively understand the needs of both suppliers and customers, and present compelling arguments.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Maybe you could share a time when you successfully negotiated a win-win scenario, even in a really challenging situation.
That's a great idea. Okay, let's tackle this one. Can you describe a time when you had to resolve a complex
Ooh, I like this one.
import-export issue?
This is where you get to show off your problem-solving skills under pressure.
Right, because in the world of import-export, things don't always go according to plan.
Never a dull moment.
So think about a situation where you faced a major obstacle.
Okay.
Maybe a shipment delay, a documentation error, even a sudden change in regulations.
Walk the interviewer through your thought process. How did you identify the problem? What steps did you take to resolve it? And what was the outcome?
I like that. And don't be afraid to talk about what you learned from the experience.
Exactly. Even if the situation wasn't ideal, showing that you can adapt, learn, and improve is incredibly valuable.
All right, last question for this round. How do you stay up to date on changes to import-export regulations and policies?
This is your chance to showcase your commitment to professional development. Talk about specific resources you use to stay informed, like industry publications, trade associations, online courses, things like that.
RoleCatcher actually provides a really helpful list in their career guide.
They do.
They mention organizations like the International Trade Administration
Yeah, that's a great one.
and specific newsletters you can subscribe to.
So definitely let's check those out as you prepare your answer.
And it's not just about passively reading articles, right?
No, you got to actively engage with the industry.
So attending conferences,
Yes.
participating in online forums,
Uh-huh.
constantly seeking out new knowledge.
That's the key.
Okay, wow. We've covered a lot of ground already,
We have.
but this is just the beginning. We'll be back with more challenging interview questions, and we'll explore how RoleCatcher's AI
Stay tuned.
can help you craft those winning responses.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
All right, so before we went to that little break,
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about some of the common interview questions you might face as an aspiring import-export manager.
Right. We covered a lot of ground.
We did. And we even touched on how RoleCatcher's AI can be a real game changer when it comes to prepping for those tough questions.
Okay, so let's dive back into those questions, shall we?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. This one's all about compliance.
Right.
How do you ensure compliance with import-export regulations and policies?
Yes. This is a big one. You need to show the interviewer that you're not just aware of the rules,
Right.
but that you have a proactive approach to compliance.
So it's about being meticulous and detail-oriented.
Exactly. Think about the systems you'd put in place to manage documentation,
Okay.
record keeping, stay on top of any changes in regulations.
Like a checklist system for each stage of the import-export process to make sure nothing falls through the cracks.
Perfect example. That shows you're organized and proactive.
Okay, good. Now, this next question really tests your ability to think on your feet. How do you handle shipping delays or other logistical issues?
Yes. Because let's face it, in the world of global trade, things don't always go smoothly.
Never a dull moment, right?
Exactly. So this question is all about showcasing your problem-solving skills, your ability to stay calm under pressure and find creative solutions.
It's about being resourceful and proactive.
Precisely. Imagine a scenario where a shipment gets delayed due to a port strike. How would you respond?
That's a tough one.
Would you try to find alternative shipping routes? would you proactively communicate with all the stakeholders involved?
Okay, so it's not just about reacting to problems, but about anticipating them
Yeah.
and having backup plans in place.
Exactly. And this is another area where RoleCatcher's AI can be incredibly helpful.
Oh, yeah, how so?
You can practice your responses to these types of questions,
Mm-hmm.
and the AI will analyze your answer, highlight any areas where you might need to provide more specific examples or strengthen your reasoning.
It's like having a personal coach who can pinpoint exactly where you need to improve your delivery.
Exactly. So you can really make sure your answers resonate with the interviewer.
Awesome. All right, next question. How do you ensure that products are transported safely and efficiently?
This one gets at the heart of the import-export process. You need to show that you understand the specific needs of the products you're dealing with.
Right. And in this case, we're talking about hides, skins, and leather products.
Exactly. These aren't just any commodities. They require specialized handling and transportation to ensure their quality is maintained.
So, for instance, mentioning the use of climate-controlled containers to prevent damage from moisture or temperature fluctuations.
A perfect example. That shows you're thinking about preserving the value of the products and meeting the expectations of your customers.
Okay, good. Now, for a question that might make you sweat a little, can you describe a time when you had to manage a crisis during the import-export process?
Ooh, this is a challenging one, but it's also a great opportunity to showcase your leadership and decision-making abilities.
Right, because in a crisis situation, that's when true leaders shine.
Think about a time when you faced a really tough situation. Maybe a natural disaster disrupted your supply chain,
Wow.
or a political upheaval led to unexpected trade restrictions.
Okay, I see what you're saying. It's about showing how you can handle pressure, make tough decisions, and communicate effectively in a high-stakes environment.
Exactly. The interviewer wants to see that you can not only survive a crisis, but emerge from it as a stronger and more effective leader.
So the key here is to focus on the actions you took,
Uh-huh.
the decisions you made,
Mm-hmm.
and the lessons you learned from the experience.
And don't be afraid to show a little vulnerability. It's okay to admit that you didn't have all the answers,
Right.
but that you were able to rally your team, seek out expert advice, and ultimately find a solution.
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into the world of import-export management.
It has. We've covered so much ground.
We've tackled those challenging interview questions and even explored how RoleCatcher's AI can help you craft winning responses.
And we've highlighted those essential skills and qualities that are crucial for success in this dynamic field.
But before we wrap up, I think it's worth shifting gears for a moment and talking about how RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your application materials.
Oh, absolutely. That's a crucial part of the process.
You mentioned earlier that RoleCatcher can analyze job descriptions and provide tailored feedback.
Mm-hmm.
How exactly does that work?
Well, imagine this. You upload your resume and the job description for the role you're targeting.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's AI engine goes to work comparing your skills and experience to the specific requirements of that job.
Wow.
And then it gives you a personalized scorecard highlighting your strengths and any areas where you might need to beef up your profile.
It's like having a personal recruiter reviewing your resume.
Exactly. And it's not just about matching keywords.
Uh-huh.
RoleCatcher's AI delves deeper, analyzing the tone and language of the job description to make sure your resume aligns with the company's culture and values.
So it's not just about stuffing your resume with industry jargon.
No.
It's about crafting a narrative that resonates with the specific hiring manager who'll be reviewing your application.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the best part is that RoleCatcher gives you specific suggestions on how to improve your resume.
So like what?
It might suggest adding quantifiable results to your achievements, highlighting relevant skills you might have overlooked, or even restructuring your resume to better align with the job requirements.
It sounds like an invaluable tool for anyone who wants to make sure their resume is making the best possible first impression.
It is. But what about those tricky cover letters? Can RoleCatcher help with those too?
I was just about to ask that.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher's AI can analyze the job description and your resume to suggest key themes and talking points for your cover letter.
Wow.
It can even help you tailor your language and tone to match the company's brand and the hiring manager's style.
So it's not just about repeating information from your resume.
Right.
It's about creating a compelling story that showcases your personality,
Yes.
your passion for the role, and your understanding of the company's needs.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI can help you avoid common cover letter pitfalls,
Like what?
like using generic language or focusing too much on your own needs rather than the company's.
Okay. That makes sense.
This is incredible.
This is incredible. It's like having a whole team of career experts working behind the scenes to help you put your best foot forward.
It is. But wait, there's more. Can RoleCatcher's AI help you prepare for the actual interview itself?
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
You can actually input your practice answers into the platform.
Right.
And RoleCatcher's AI will give you personalized feedback on your content and how relevant your answers are to the specific job description.
So it's not just checking for grammar and spelling errors.
No, it goes much deeper than that.
It's analyzing the actual substance of your answers.
Exactly.
Right.
The AI will look for things like clarity, conciseness, and relevance to the role.
Wow.
It can even detect subtle cues in your language that might be sending the wrong message to the interviewer.
So it's like having a virtual mock interview.
Exactly. But with the added benefit of AI-powered insights that you might not pick up on yourself.
And because RoleCatcher's AI is constantly learning and evolving, it can provide you with the most up-to-date advice, tailored to the specific industry and role you're targeting.
It's a game changer for sure.
It really is. It's leveling the playing field and giving everyone access to that kind of personalized career guidance that used to be so expensive.
And with RoleCatcher's free version, you can access many of these amazing features without breaking the bank.
That's fantastic. So even if you're just starting your job search or exploring different career paths, you can still benefit from RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools.
Absolutely. It's an incredible resource for anyone who wants to take control of their career and boost their chances of success.
Well said.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've talked about how RoleCatcher can help you with your application materials,
Yes.
let's get back to those interview questions
Let's do it.
and really dive into some of the nuances of the import-export industry.
All right, I'm ready. So we've really dissected those interview questions and explored how RoleCatcher can give you that extra edge.
Yeah. It's amazing how AI can really personalize your prep.
It is. But before we wrap things up, let's take a step back and think big picture.
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways for anyone who wants to be an import-export manager in this specific industry?
Yeah. What makes someone truly successful in this role?
You need that perfect blend of technical expertise and those all-important soft skills.
Right. So you got to be a master of logistics and regulations,
Yeah.
but also a skilled communicator and negotiator.
Absolutely. And don't forget about cultural awareness. You're working with people from all over the world.
It's like a global puzzle. And the import-export manager is the one making sure all those pieces fit together seamlessly.
Exactly. You're ensuring those goods flow smoothly across borders and cultures.
Okay, so we've talked about what it takes to succeed right now. But what about the future?
Ah, yes. Always thinking ahead.
How will things like technology and globalization change the demands of this career?
Well, if we look back at that functions and core abilities section in RoleCatcher's career guide,
Okay.
they emphasize critical thinking, problem solving, and adaptability as core skills.
And those are only going to become more important as technology takes over some of those routine tasks.
Exactly. It's not enough to just follow the process. You need to be a strategic thinker, someone who can anticipate challenges and find creative solutions.
So like using AI not just for tracking shipments,
Right.
but for analyzing market trends, optimizing supply chains, even predicting potential problems.
Now you're thinking like an import-export manager of the future.
And with global markets getting even more interconnected, that cultural awareness and ability to build relationships across borders, those become even more essential.
Think about all those interactions you'll have. Negotiating with suppliers in different countries, coordinating logistics providers across time zones, communicating with government agencies.
That's a lot.
It is. And each one requires sensitivity to those cultural differences.
So basically, you need to be a global citizen, a master communicator, and a strategic thinker, all rolled into one.
Sounds about right.
And luckily, tools like RoleCatcher give people those resources they need to develop those skills.
Yeah. It's amazing how accessible that kind of support is now.
It really is.
Yeah.
So to all our listeners out there who are thinking about a career in import-export, we say go for it.
Yeah, it's a fascinating field.
Embrace that challenge. Stay curious and never stop learning. That's the key.
Well said. The world of import-export is waiting for you.
And remember, RoleCatcher is there to support you every step of the way.
Absolutely. With their AI-powered tools and expert insights, you'll be ready to navigate all those complexities.
And with that, we've come to the end of our deep dive into the world of import-export management.
Thanks for joining us.
We hope you found it insightful and empowering. Until next time, keep exploring, keep striving, and keep reaching for those stars.
See you next time.